So this chapter we're going to talk about solving inequalities. So you're going to use the same skills that you used when we solved equations. We're just going to take it one step further. Okay, so notice the only difference between what this looks like and what we've seen before is it has a greater than sign instead of a less than sign. Okay, so you solve this the same way. Add the 5 over. 2x is greater than 28. Divide by 2. X is greater than 14. Okay, so there's where we would stop if it said x equals 14. So now with inequalities, you actually have to graph them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them on a number line. Okay, so the two numbers that I want you to put on your number line are 0. So I always put 0 on there. And then the number that you get for your answer. So you get 14. Okay. Now you guys all know you've got greater than and less than, and then you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Okay, there are specific things that both of these tell us. Okay, if it's a greater than or a less than sign, it's what we call an open circle. Okay, so basically what that is I'm just going to make a circle and I'm not going to fill it in. Greater than or equal to or less than or equal to is a closed circle. Okay, so it's a filled in circle. Okay, the difference between the two is with the closed circle, we're including the number that we get. With an open circle, we aren't. Okay, so I always look at the inequality sign that I have. So it's an open circle. And I want x is greater than 14. Okay, so if you're not really sure, take that 0, plug it in. Is 0 greater than 14? Okay, no, it's not. So we're going to take our arrow and point away from the 0. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so we subtract 2 over. We get negative 7x is less than 3. All right, divide by a negative 7. Okay, here's another unwritten rule. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign. Okay, so since I'm dividing by a negative, that less than sign is going to become a greater than sign. And then negative 3/7. So then again, we have to graph it. Okay, so the nice thing about how I graph, put 0 on there, negative 3/7. Okay, you can give it its own tick mark. You don't have to figure out where it's at in between 0 and 1. Okay, since it's a greater than sign, it's an open circle. And then, is 0 greater than negative 3/7? It is, so we're going to point towards our 0. Okay. All right, just like before, we've got lots of multi-step equations that we can be doing. Okay, so most of you would say distribute. So in your calculators, 1/3 times 3 is 1. So I'm just going to write it as x plus 1/3 times 6 is 2, greater than or equal to negative 1. Subtract 2 over, get x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So put it on a number line. You got 0, you've got negative 3. This time we have a closed circle, okay, because it's greater than or equal to. So then I do my check. Is 0 greater than or equal to negative 3? Yes, it is. Okay. Last one, we got variables on both sides. Okay. So we want to get the variables to one side, the constants to the other. Okay. So I'm just going to move my variables to the left side of the inequality sign. I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. So 9x minus 6x is 3x plus 6 less than or equal to 21. Now it looks like the problems that we did on the first two examples. Subtract 6. 3x is less than or equal to 15. Divide by 3. X is less than or equal to 5. So then we make our lovely number line. got 0, got 5. It's a closed circle this time. And then is 0 less than or equal to 5? It is, so then we point towards the 0. All right, last two. So again, got variables on both sides with both of these problems. We want to get variables on one side, constants on the other. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So 3x minus 3x is 0. So I get 2 is less than negative 4. Okay. So do you remember, hopefully you do, when we solved equations, we had some situations where we had no solution or we had all solutions. Okay. This is a situation where you have to decide, is this a no solution? Is this all solutions? So ask yourself, is 2 less than negative 4? Well, that doesn't work, so this would be a no solution. So if you get an inequality that is not a true inequality, like it doesn't work, okay, that's a no solution. So then we're going to solve this other one. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I get negative 3 is greater than negative 7. Well, that is a true statement. Okay, that's where you're going to get that all solutions answer. Okay. The nice thing about these two is you don't have to graph if you get a no solution or an all solutions. Okay, we do not have to graph them.